Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Checking. 1, 2, 3. Relaxing ASMR check. Check, 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 check. Checking. Checkaroo. Checkaroni. Looks like we're live. All right, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, keep dreaming.
Hey dreamers, how are you? Welcome back to another lovely live ASMR session here on YouTube. Another relaxing weekly installment of our ASMR kind of discussion series where we just do like a weekly live stream, on a weekly basis, and we just talk about random stuff, or maybe in the future we'll do some art stuff and other things like that. But I wanted to get back to doing some live streams because I enjoy being live and interacting with those of you that are here live. So shout out to everyone that is here. Just do a quick audio check just to make sure you guys can hear me okay as I talk, and wait till everyone else gets here in the chat that can. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking some of your time to listen to me ramble and talk about different things, and I appreciate you very much. Hope you've been having a great week. Hopefully all of your Mondays have been pretty decent. My Mondays and Tuesdays are my days off from work, so this is why I'm able to do some live streams again and be able to have some energy to talk to you guys. Today's I guess theme is about my military history. It is a question that I've been asked quite frequently, just throughout the years. Whenever I mention anything about the military, people always ask, can you talk about it? Can you, tell us a story about it? And I don't know, my time in the military is something that I don't really like to recall. And for no real reason, just other than it was a very stressful time in my life for different reasons. And it was a time that I had to kind of buckle down and work so that I could benefit later. So I just kind of, I've put it away, I finished that book, closed the book, put it in my memory library and put it away. So that's why I haven't really talked about it much in the past. But those of you that have followed me for quite some time now, you've probably heard tidbits and stuff like that. So you might hear some familiar things, but if not, then you guys might learn something new. And I kind of also wanted to do this for anyone that was looking to join the military and kind of get an idea of at least, one person's perspective on it, and from somebody who's been in, and maybe get some more information on how it could either, benefit you or whatever. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Yeah, we'll wait for a couple people to get in here, and then I don't even know where to start really. Gotta stay hydrated. Hello from Brazil. Hi. What up? Hi. You want to join the Navy? Nice. You're taking your ASVAB test this Thursday? Oh, well, hi. How ironic is that? How much of a planet alignment perfect timing is this? But good luck on your test. I'm sure you'll do fine. I would definitely recommend, if you are thinking about taking an ASVAB test, definitely study for it. They actually, I don't know, when I was about to take mine, there was actually a textbook, or many textbooks really, that you could use as like a study guide to kind of help you do well on the test. So I would definitely recommend picking that up, or doing, some type of online version of that. Actually, I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background. That's the, because there's a military base like right there. the military base that I used to work at, oddly enough. Um, but yeah, you're not getting the video. Refresh. Hit the refresh button. Refresh, refresh, refresh. But yeah, so I guess let's get started into this conversation. Again, I don't really know where to even begin as far as like what I even want to cover. So I guess let's just start at the beginning. I graduated high school in 2007, and I was working at I think I was working at a Toyota dealership, and I was just, after I graduated, I was just working, just having a normal job over the summer, as I, was trying to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, now that I'm free from high school. It's kind of a pivotal point in as a young person to decide where you want to go in life. And so in my mind, I had two real decisions to make, or two different pathways that I could choose. I could either, one, go to college and, get some grants, or borrow some money and, pay a crap load of money to go to college and be in debt for the rest of my life. Or I could join the military, and work for a couple of years of my life, and then school is free. So those were my two decisions. And for me as a person, the kind of person that I am, that was an easy decision to make. That was a super easy decision. I was like, yeah, forget being in debt the rest of my life trying to pay off school loans. I'm going to join the military, and work a normal job, normal, and then my school will be fully paid for. Pretty easy decision, right? Geek Filter says, you graduated in 2007. Well, now I feel ancient. I mean, I just turned 29 like last month, so I don't know, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, so I decided to join the military, and so I went to the local recruiter, talked to them about different opportunities and stuff. They set me up with the whole process of I think it's called MEPS, and you got to take the ASVAB test. And that test basically, however you score on that test is what determines what jobs are available for you. Like, because it tests you on a bunch of different fields, and depending on how you score in each category will determine what jobs are available for you. They have like science, math, I think reading comprehension or intelligence or something. I don't know. They have like a whole bunch of different categories on that test, of just basic stuff, just to see, what you're generally good at. And so, did like the whole like weight test or whatever. Before I even did that, for like, I think it was like 2 or 3 months prior, I was like training. I was like every night I would go out for a run, do like a 1.5 mile run, and just try to get my weight down to like a good weight, to where, because like, I don't know, they didn't give me any criteria as far as like what weight I needed to be, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I just kind of, in my mind, I imagined, all right, I'm about to join the military. I need to be pretty fit, right? In order to get through boot camp. And to, do like whatever kind of training that they're going to need me to do. Again, this is was I 18 at the time? Yeah, this is my 18-year-old self thinking, whatever. So was I 18 or 19? I think I was 18, because then I turned 19 and then 20. Yeah, okay, yeah, I was 18. So this is my 18-year-old mind. I was like, all right, cool. I need to be pretty fit, so let me just go start running, try to get, lose a couple pounds. And so I lost, I think, like 20 pounds, and just kept, getting my cardio fitness up. And then, I just went through the whole process and took the test. I got a high aptitude in, I think I had a high enough score to where I was eligible for pretty much every job. So I was pretty proud of myself for that. I studied, of course, in order to be able to pass that test pretty well. And so the first job that I picked was an aerial gunner. Again, in my 18-year-old mind, I was like, well, okay, I'm about to join the military. If I'm going to do this, because it's a pretty big decision to make. If I'm going to join the military, I might as well do something freaking cool, you know? I might as well like be like a some type of like, battle warrior and freaking, just be badass, right? So I signed up to be an aerial gunner. And so we did all the paperwork, we got everything ready to go. And I had my date. I was supposed to leave in, I think it was like February of 2008. February or March, something like that. And so, I was good to go. And this was like in October, I think, that everything was kind of finalized. And then about like a month later, I had gotten a message or contacted by, somebody that was like, hey, we noticed that you also had a high score in the mechanical field. And basically they offered me a chance to leave earlier, but I would have to be, I wouldn't have like a specific job. I'd just be under open mechanical. So I didn't really think too much into that. I should have, but I just, in my mind, all I heard was I can leave earlier. Again, because in my mind at the time, I was like, all right, I just want to get my life started, like as and be independent, move away from the house, not live with my parents. I want to like start my life and be on my own. So all I heard was you get to leave earlier. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever, hopefully I'll be able to pick a job or whatever, eventually, somewhere along the line during boot camp, I could pick a job or something. So I took the opportunity, and so I left for boot camp in November of 2007, and that's when the rest of my life started. Boot camp was an interesting affair. That was an interesting time. When I went through boot camp, it was only 4 weeks, or was it 6 weeks? I think it was 6 weeks, and then after I left boot camp, they changed it to 8 weeks. I think. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was 6 weeks. Yeah, so I did boot camp for 6 weeks, and boot camp is boot camp. Boot camp is pretty much what you see on television, or on YouTube videos of what boot camp is like. It's pretty much that. People yelling in your face, trying to break you down, and get you to fall in line and listen to orders, and get you to the whole point of boot camp is to break you down as like and to break away all of your, I guess, civilian tendencies, because most of the people that join are at a pretty young age, and so you just got out of high school, you think you're all that, you think you're the shit, and you think you can do anything, and so what boot camp is for is to kind of break you down as a person and get you to be able to follow orders, be able to follow direction, to pay attention to details and little things. And it's not even about the details of what they're trying to teach you at the moment, but it's more to kind of get you into like a habitual thing and to grow you as a person, to be able to pay attention to stuff, because chances are your job in the military is going to be super important, and you're going to have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, so you need to pay attention to little things. So, things like having to fold your bed a certain way and roll your socks and clothes a certain way is just a habitual thing to get you used to paying attention and being very meticulous about stuff. Jem says boot camp sounds like a nightmare. It is kind of a nightmare, but at the same time, depending on how you go into it mentally, it's not so bad. It really isn't. And I think that boot camp is one of the things that stops a lot of people from, going through the process of getting through all that, because they're scared of it. They're like, oh, it's going to be hell and blah, blah, blah. But what I try to encourage people with is that boot camp is not forever. Boot camp is only a couple of weeks out of your entire life ahead of you. It's only a couple of weeks worth of following direction, studying things about the military, learning how to march. And again, those things are just for habitual things to get you used just get you used to like taking direction and being able to just do things a certain way, you know. So yeah, boot camp is just a couple weeks, and it's honestly again not that bad, especially nowadays. Like when I was in boot camp, we didn't get to have cell phones, we didn't get to have nothing. Everything was like all of our personal civilian belongings were like put in a bag and locked away for the entire time that we were there. Nowadays, I guess trainees are allowed to have their phones and allowed to do all this other kind of crazy stuff. Like I was writing letters, and when I was in boot camp, like we weren't allowed to be on social media and all this other stuff, like how they're able to do now. So it's a lot easier, if anything. So yeah, once boot camp was over, again that was like 6 weeks of that. I went into, or at the end of boot camp, I got like my official job, which was a crew chief on F-16s. I think the official term was technical aircraft maintenance or maintainer. And I remember sitting at my desk, or in a desk in a room with a whole bunch of other desks and other people as well, who were also, you know, reading about their jobs. And I remember reading about the job and thinking, this is interesting. Like, they kind of just chose the job for me. I didn't get to choose my job because I went in open mechanical, or like any other job, like open general, open whatever other category. If you go in open, the military is going to pick your job for you. So, you know, take a note if you're thinking about joining the military, have a specific job, because you might not like the job that they give you. Because what the military does is they just fill in whatever roles that they don't have people in. And if you have a good aptitude for that role, they're going to put you in that job. So make sure that you pick a job that you want and don't let them pick it for you. Because again, you're probably not going to like it, which was the case for me. I mean, I didn't necessarily like hate my job, but it wasn't something that I felt like I could, you know, go 200% in on and be super happy with while I was doing it. But I'll get into that. So I got my job, technical aircraft maintainer. And what that means is I'm basically what's called a crew chief. I'm like the person that is in charge of a fleet or a specific jet, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, I'm in charge of a jet, and I oversee inspections. I oversee maintenance on aircraft, so I change out engines, tires, hydraulic systems, the works. I basically oversee the entire like maintenance aspect of these fighter jets. It's a pretty how do I say that? It's just a job that has a lot of responsibility in it, right? Because I'm responsible for not only this multi-million-dollar aircraft, right? I'm responsible for the pilot that's driving it, right? You know, because like I'm the last person that inspects the jet and makes sure that it's good to go, good to fly. So yeah, it's a job with major responsibility in it. So that was a point of extreme stress on a daily basis. So I got my job, and as soon as you graduate boot camp, you go on to a different base, and they ship you off to a different base to do your training, and that's where you learn specifics about your job. And it's called a technical school. Every tech school is different for each job. Some tech schools are 6 weeks long, 8 weeks long. Some tech schools are months and years long. It just depends on your job. So my tech school was like 3 months, I think. And I ended up going to, I was at Lackland for boot camp. That was in Texas. And then I went up to Wichita in Texas. Wichita Falls, however you say that. I think I spent like 2 months there, or however many months there for training. And then after that, I went to Arizona for like the last little bit of like on the job training. Because at first, I don't know, for my job specifically, you did like training as far as like you learned everything through books and like presentations and stuff. Um, and kind of on the job training, but most of the aircraft and stuff were just static displays. They were just there for you to like get a visual cue. But when I went down to Arizona, all of that training was like on the job, like with active jets, active pilots. Like you learned how to do your job there. So that was a lot of fun. And again, take note, lots of traveling is going on throughout this whole process. So if you're a person that's kind of stuck in their state, or stuck at home and who wants to venture out, the military is really good for being able to see different places, go to different areas of the world, and kind of, it broadens your horizons that way. So yeah, after I got all that training done and I became like a, I guess, the lowest tier level of maintainer, I got my first orders to my first base. And this is crazy when I got that because, some people got orders to like Florida, some people got orders to Vegas and other places like that, have the kind of aircraft that we work on. But my orders were to halfway across the world in South Korea. So my first base was in, it was Osan, was the air base there, Osan. And yeah, that was an experience and a half. I spent an entire year out in South Korea, just starting my job, starting my life in the military, starting my everyday life in the military. Because, those first couple of whatever, like boot camp and technical training, that's kind of like, it's kind of like, how do I describe that? It's like an enclosed bubble. Like you're in this like very kind of weird kind of structured world when you're in boot camp and like tech training. But then once you get out of that and go to your first base and start actually working, life, I guess, in a way turns back to normal. And again, this is one of the things that I kind of encourage people when they're kind of scared to join the military, even though they want to, they're kind of scared because of boot camp and stuff. I tell them that, like, once you get through all of that stuff, whatever it takes to get through training and boot camp and stuff, everything turns back to normal. At first it seems scary because, you have this preconceived idea of what the military is like based on movies and stuff, but it's like, that's only in the beginning. But once you break out of that and start doing your normal everyday job, everything returns to normal in a way. You go to work. Once you're done with work, you go home and you wake up the next day and do the same thing. It's just like everyday life. The only thing is you have to go to work and you have to wear a uniform. I mean, just like most of any job, right? And you're a military member, so you just have to kind of hold yourself with a different what's the word for that? I don't know. You just have to hold yourself differently, like walk around differently with a different kind of poise as a military member, because you are representing, your service. You're representing whatever military service that you're a part of. So you have to act professional. You have to, be courteous. You have to be respectful. You have to be whatever. And that's it. Other than those things, life returns back to normal. You just work every day and earn a paycheck and do whatever you got to do. So I spent a year out in Korea. That was a whole. Korea was a lot of fun, but it was also scary at the same time because with my job, they kind of just throw you out into the wolves, or however that saying goes. And so I had to quickly learn how to do my job and learn the lingo and learn like all these different things in a foreign country. So that was just that was an interesting experience. And it was actually the first time that I went through like a sort of I don't want to call it a mini depression and like talk it down, because it was a kind of depression. Um, because it was the first time that I really had a chance to process the fact that, I'm on my own. I'm doing my own thing. I'm in a foreign country where, I know no one, right? I'm learning how to do this brand new job that I'm going to be doing for, the next 6 years. And it was just a lot to take in. So I definitely went through my first kind of depression during that time. It didn't really last long, again, because I kind of made up for it by working out and doing other productive things that I could do, that we were allowed to do. I would kind of travel off base and go see some of the different things that, South Korea has to offer, which, by the way, South Korea is amazing. Oh my God. Like, I want to go visit again, because like that's how amazing South Korea is. There's just so much culture there. There's so much like it's indescribable. It really is. Um, so yeah, so I spent a year there, and after I was done and left, I my base after that was actually here in South Carolina at the base that's literally a couple miles away. Um, and that was here in Sumter, South Carolina, at Shaw Air Force Base. And yeah, after I came here, um, and transferred everything over, moved everything over, life again just kind of returned back to normal. Just started doing my everyday job, learning a little bit more, doing more training, doing more this and that. Um, I had finally gotten a chance to move off base, I think like maybe a year after I got stationed here. I made a bunch of really cool friends. We would like fucking throw parties and shit like every other weekend. It's ridiculous. We just had a lot of fun. And I don't know. Once I got like back here to the States, things kind of got different. Because I was back home, here in the States, where I didn't have to worry about North Korea being, right freaking there. I didn't have to worry so much about like crazy stuff, because I was back here, on American soil. Everything was, super chill. So yeah, that's when things kind of, smoothed out, and I wasn't so depressed. I still wasn't happy, again, because like I said, my job was a job that it just wasn't, again, I don't even know how to word that. Like that's how much it kind of affected me, and that's how much I like buried it away as well. um I don't, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like it's one of those things where, even though I hated what I was doing, in a way, I still did it well. Like because like that's the kind of person that I am. Like even if I don't like doing something, I still do it to the best of my ability. If I'm required to, obviously, in that case, because I have to. Like I'm not the kind of person to like be a piece of shit, and just because I hate my job, I'm gonna slack off and not do what I need to do in order to get through the day. Because like my goal, every time I came into work was, okay, what can I do to make my day go as smoothly as possible, so that I can get off work on time when I need to, and not be stressed the fuck out. And so I did that. Every day was a new day that I would try to manage. And with my job being such a high stress job, and I guess I didn't really say what service I joined. I was in the Air Force, obviously. We work on jets and stuff. And so a lot of people, they, whenever you think about the Air Force, I don't know, I guess most people in the services, they're like, oh yeah, Air Force, Chair Force, like you guys don't really do any work, you're not on the battlefield, you're not this and that. But it's like, I had one of the few jobs in the Air Force that did require me to be, at work 15, 16 hours a day, 5 days a week, working with grease and fuel and oil and shit, and just like it was just let's just say I'm very glad that I don't ever have to do that anymore. And not only that, but any mechanic, that works for like a big company, you guys know what it's like to have not only a very tough job, right? Fixing things, maintaining things, and the like, but also to have regulations and people, hounding you to do things by a certain way. And even though like there's different ways to do things and different ways to solve issues, that you have to do things a certain way, and how do I say that? Like you have like a quality assurance people like hounding you, making sure like there's not a tool out of line and stuff like that. Like it's just it's so fucking stressful. It's so stressful. Oh my god. I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. So glad. But anyway, yeah, and it was just that for 6 years. It was just that for 6 years, I because of my job, I did get a chance to go TDY, which is basically, we have different missions in different states or whatever. So like if my jets were needed in a different state for like training or whatever, I would go with my jet. Or with all of the maintainers would go with the fleet to wherever they have to go. So I got a chance to go to various different places around the world and here in the US. So that was fun. A lot of the aspects of my job specifically were fun. Like it's super cool to see jets take off every day. It's super cool to see them land and to hear them start up and hear like that winding turbine and feel the air pressure, there as the jet's sitting right next to you. Like it's a really cool fucking job. But it's super stressful at the same time. But yeah, like I said, it was just 6 years of stress and anxiety and trying to get through it every day. But it was fun. It was fun. I met a lot of really good people. And like, if somebody were to ask me like, if I could go back in time and choose whether to join the military or not, or, to pick a different job or not, or, at that pivotal moment, if I would change it, I definitely wouldn't change it. If I ever went back into the military, I would definitely pick a different job. But I met a lot of really good people. A lot of people in similar jobs than mine that were also stressed the fuck out. And, we built a lot of camaraderie through that stress. Like you really build a lot of good relationships with people. And that's the kind of stuff that makes it worth it. That's the kind of stuff that really makes it worth it. And so, like I said, I did that for 6 years. I went back to Korea a couple more times within those 6 years, because like I was stationed here primarily, but I would go on like a year tour to Korea, or like 4 or 6 months or whatever. I went to the Middle East twice. Once was on a security detail, and the other time was as my job. We actually were on a mission. I think I could talk about this. Our mission basically was like our jets were kind of helping the troops as they were getting out of Iraq. They were like overseeing all the Humvees and stuff like that. So, I got to be part of that mission, which was like pretty freaking cool. Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff, a lot of great opportunities, and a lot of really good relationships that I've made in the military. Despite all the bullshit and stress and whatever. Again, in a way that's just everyday life, right? Like everybody is stressed out about shit, and we all have our own versions of issues and things like that. But I don't know, being in the military was definitely something that I would do again for sure. Like I wouldn't change that for the world. And one of the reasons for that was that once I got out of the military, which was in 2013, like when you get out of the military and you transition into civilian life, and I would think this would be the way for most people or most veterans, but I guess I can only speak on my own experience. But like, I don't. It's weird. It's like after everything that you've been through while in the military, when you become a civilian again, you kind of feel like you have a leg up on on not on people, but on life. Like you just feel more capable. You feel more able to do stuff and able to make things work the way that you need them to work in order to do whatever you want to do in life. You just feel more powerful, more able to just more able. I don't really know how else to say that. Because I realized that once when I did get out and moved down to Florida to go to school, I don't know, I was surrounded by a bunch of like teenagers and stuff, and I got out. I was like 27 at the time. No, I was 25, 24, 25. But my peers in college were a bunch of like teenagers fresh out of high school, don't really know what to do with their lives, irresponsible, etc., etc., etc. And so you could really feel the difference, the difference in the amount of like attention to getting things done between you and people around you. Again, because you're so used to getting things done and paying attention to things that you need to do, that it was abundantly clear whenever we would be in like group projects and stuff like that, working with kids that don't really know anything, that you had a leg up. You were just more prepared, more capable of doing stuff and getting things done. But yeah, I guess that's my military story in a way. As far as like, because I mentioned something about relationships earlier, like I built a lot of solid relationships. Relationships in the military are difficult, or they can be difficult. I mean, oh man, being in the military, at least from my perspective, really opens your eyes to a lot of how do I word that? I don't know how to word that. It really, it shows you the various types of people that there are and how little people can care about relationships, as far as like boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. It's I don't know how else to word that. It's like very dog eat dog when it comes to relationships in the military. It's very volatile. It can be, at least. Because you get into situations where people marry each other just for the benefits, and they don't really actually like each other, and that causes a whole lot of issues. You have people that have to go out and go on tours and go out of country, and so they leave their significant other at home, and their significant other is like doing crazy stuff with other people, and like, but the other person that's deployed is also doing crazy stuff with other people, and that causes issues, and like it's just a whole lot of fucking mess. Relationships can be like extremely difficult in the military. So if you are thinking about joining the military, just keep that in mind. It will open your mind to a lot of things, and a lot of the ways that people are. If you pay attention, if you really pay attention, you can learn a whole lot about people in the military. As far as like my own history, like with relationships, I didn't really date much in my mind. I think I was in 2 relationships while I was in the military. But that was again my choice, because I felt like I moved around too much. Like I was always in and out here, deploying there, going TDY to over here, that I was just gone too much to even bother trying to hold a relationship with somebody. Because again, because of seeing my peers and seeing all of the kind of crazy mess that they get in, makes me not even want to deal with that, But I did try doing like long distance relationship type stuff. That didn't work at all. That actually, those experiences was what taught me that communication is key. Communication is huge. I mean, in just relationships in general, of course, but especially, especially when you're in the military, communication is so fucking key. Um, but yeah, so I tried dating. I mean, I was in a couple of relationships while I was in the military. Didn't work out. So I kind of maintained just being single and, just enjoying that for the time being. What else can I talk about? Friendships, again, like I said, friendships, you meet so many good people, so many good people. So many different types of people, and again, that's just one of the really good benefits about being in the military. You meet all kinds of people from all like walks of life. People, you'll make friends with people you never thought you would make friends with. Either because you're forced to work together, so you have to be involved in one another, and eventually you build friendships that way, or because you meet people at like functions or gatherings or parties and stuff. And it just happens, you just meet the coolest people. Someone mentioned PTSD. PTSD is a huge deal. It's a very huge deal. There's definitely different levels of PTSD. I wouldn't say I even have any kind of PTSD. I think most military members would kind of I don't know. I guess I would imagine most people wouldn't really admit that they have PTSD, or even think that they have PTSD, and they actually do. But it is a serious issue for sure. Like whenever you go overseas and you're part of those like missions that, I don't even know how to word that either. You're just part of certain missions that have certain outcomes that really kind of affect you. And again, you're in a hostile country where everyone there wants to fucking kill you. That does a number on you. That it really does. I would say I definitely, after getting out of the military, I definitely how do I say that? I definitely like brought with me certain like quirks and things like that just I wouldn't imagine that I would have without it. I guess I don't know how to word that. But yeah, I don't think I have PTSD. I don't have like crazy flashbacks or anything like that. All I know is like whenever I pass the base every day to go to work, I like breathe a giant sigh of relief that I don't have to deal with that stress anymore. For me, it's like it's just a giant sigh of relief. It's just like, oh, thank God. Like I'm proud of myself that I got through that, and even though it was like really fucking stressful, I'm over it. I got through that. I'm stronger as a person, and I can be happy knowing that I don't have to do that anymore, and I'm better off because I went through that. What else? What kind of questions do you guys have? Those of you that are here in chat. And if you've gotten this far and you're watching this when it's not live, comment down below potato, and I'll know that you made it this far. Comment potato, and so that I know. But yeah, what kind of questions do you guys have as far as like military stuff? Because that's pretty much all I can really say as far as like my experience in the military. Of stuff that I haven't buried away, deep inside the dark reaches of my mind that I don't want to bring forward again. But yeah. Do you roll your socks in a ball still? No, definitely not. No, I stopped doing that after boot camp. No way. What branch were you in? I was in the Air Force. And that was a tactical decision too, because the reason that I joined was so that I could, have my school paid for when I was done, right? So I tried to take the path of least resistance in a way, and chose the service that I felt would allow me to not get killed in a way, to not, be in a position that would, be a far more harmful than necessary. I guess I don't really know how to word that. Plus, the Air Force gets nicer facilities. The Air Force gets nicer equipment and stuff like that. So, just kind of makes sense. Why would you choose to swim in a puddle of mud rather than a great, clear blue ocean? It's kind of one of those things. But everyone's different. Some people really like the lifestyle of, the Marines or the Navy and stuff like that. So choose whatever, works for you. But for me and my goals and in my, me looking forward ahead in the future, I wanted to not be in such a, or not have to, worry about certain things while I was in the military. I wanted to, be, I don't even know how to say that. I don't even know how to say that. Thank you for your service. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm proud of the fact that I served my country and that I did my time, even though it was just 6 years. Some people do 10, some people go for the full 20. I'm proud of myself for getting through that, because it's not easy. It's not easy, It's simple, because again, if you think to the fact that like it's just like everyday life, you just go to work and then you go home. That's it. It's simple, but it's not easy. And so, it's definitely something worth being proud of. It's a huge learning experience. It's a chance to, grow as a person, and you're serving your country. You're doing something that hopefully is beneficial. That's, at least for America, the American military, we like to think that, we're fighting to continue to be free, and we're fighting to continue to maintain our way of life. So I guess that's something to be proud about. You like listening to my voice? Well, thank you. I'm glad. Glad I don't sound like a duck. Quack, 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 quack. Do you get healthcare now too because of the VA? Because I deployed, I got 5 years of free healthcare for deploying, like 5 years after the day that I got out. So it'll actually be this year in November that it runs out. So I have to go to the doctor and get all my checkup stuff before then. But they do offer veterans like health insurance, which I guess is significantly cheaper. So I'll probably be picking that up. So that I can maintain having some type of health insurance, because that's important. God forbid something crazy happens, it's good to have health insurance and be able to pay for that. What's the best shenanigans you got into? Oh man. I guess, is this a PG-13 story? I don't know. I guess I could make it PG-13. Oh my God, shout out to Erica with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Mwah. You are loved. I appreciate you. She says, love these story times. I love telling stories. But let's see, the craziest shenanigans. I got into a lot of crazy shenanigans, but should I tell that one? I guess this is kind of funny. But so how many of you are familiar with the term happy ending? How many of you are familiar with the term a happy ending? Let's just say that one time, when I was in South Korea, me and a friend of mine, or how do you say that? A friend of mine and I, me and a friend and I, a friend and I were out and about on the town, and the trains were shut down. Like, this was like really late at night or early in the morning. the trains were shut down, and so we had no way of getting back to the base. So we decided to just kind of walk around the city a little bit. I think we were in Seoul at the time, and just walking around the streets, just enjoying the city lights and the nightlife and stuff. And we happened to come across an alleyway that was like brightly lit up from like all sides, but it was like an alley, and it had a bunch of like different shops and stuff. And we noticed that these shops had a like a barber pole, like one of those like twisty barber shop poles. But the kind of common thing, at least at the time, was that like if you ever see the two barbershop poles, that you can get a haircut or a massage, that also came with a happy ending. So we noticed these down the alleyway, and we were like, huh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Oh my God, Ashley, thank you so much for the 279. I appreciate you. Mwah. I love you. But yeah, so we were like, should we check this out? Should we see if this is the real deal? See if this is what everyone says it is? And so for 70,000 won, which is their currency, I think it was like $50. I received a fantastic massage. Fantastic. It was actually a really good massage. Along with a happy ending. That was quite interesting. And that's all I can say about that, because YouTube is going to demonetize me and destroy my channel. So I'll be nice. I'll be nice about that. Like I said before, when I was stationed here, I had a really cool group of friends, and we would always throw like these house parties. It was like every other weekend or every 2 weekends we would throw a house party, and like everybody would come, and like these were like giant freaking parties. It was amazing. And during one of these parties was like one of the first times that I ever blacked out from drinking too much alcohol. It was kind of hilarious, actually, because I remember. Well, here's the thing that I used to do. I used to drink Four Locos. And if anyone knows about Four Locos, then you know how intense this is. I would typically start my party nights, at least, drinking 2 Four Locos. And then would kind of, go from there, play a little bit of beer pong. And at the time we would play beer pong with beer in the actual cups. I don't know, I guess recently, or at least I've noticed recently, a lot of people play with water in the cup. It's easier for cleanup, I guess, and you just drink out of your drinking cup. But yeah, so I would start my nights drinking 2 Four Locos, and then whatever other alcoholic beverages that I would enjoy after that. Well, on one particular night, I think it was the night that we had the waterfall. Was it that night? It was. On this particular night, a buddy of mine had gotten this like giant kind of like plastic thing that when you put water in it and ice it over and put it in the freezer overnight, it would turn into like a trench, like a waterfall, or like an ice thing, like an ice slope. And it's meant so that you can pour a shot down on one end and it can just like fall and you drink it. It's a dumb party game. So I think it was on that night that they had that thing, as well as like a whole like tray full of like Jello shots. So after a couple of Jello shots and a couple of shots down the frozen trench, as I'll just call it for now, I was feeling a bit tipsy, to say the least. But anyway, long story short, I remember going to the bathroom, using the bathroom, and then after I used the bathroom, I went to wash my hands, and I remember looking at myself in the mirror, just checking myself out, making sure I'm straightened up or whatever. And then black. And then black. And then I remember faint like flashes of like walking along the side of the house and then black. And then the next thing I know, I'm outside in front of the house next to a tree, lying on the ground as if I was like sleeping. And like I get up, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? What happened? I don't even know how long I was out. But I stood up, brushed myself off, and slowly walked back in to the party. Everyone was just doing their own thing. No one was the wiser. No one had any idea of what happened. Yeah, that was one of the first times I ever blacked out. That was, never again. Never again. Never again. That's all the shenanigans I'll tell you for now. Maybe we'll do like a part 2 of shenanigans another time. But what else? What other questions do you guys have? Like military related. I guess I could kind of talk about like benefits and stuff. Like, I don't know. I know that like the military isn't for everyone, but I feel like anyone could do it. Does that make sense? Like, you don't necessarily have to like what you're doing. You can just get through it and do it. Like that's what I did. I didn't necessarily like doing it, but I did it because I knew that it was a good stepping stone to get me to where I eventually want to go, right? So yeah, I don't think the military is for everyone. Again, some people do 20, 25 years in the military, easy, no problem. I was good with 6. I was okay with 6. That was enough for me. So where was I trying to go with that? The point I was trying to make was that like, if you're at a point in your life that you have absolutely nothing, whether it's because you just got out of high school and you're just starting your life, you have no idea what the fuck to do, you have no direction in life, you're just like, I don't know what to do. Or if you're a little bit older, I guess under 30, and you've tried school and maybe that's not working out, or you've tried working a regular job and that's not working out, life is life is rough for you and you just can't make headways of like what to do, join the military. Join the military. First, shout out to Create Like a Little God. Interesting name. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate you. I love you. And thanks for everybody giving him hearts in chat. You're amazing for that. But yeah, if your life is rough, if your life is not going well, and you feel like you have nothing, you don't know what to do, join the military. And if for no other reason than just to help you get your life on track. Because it's simple. It's a simple thing. You join, you go through the couple weeks of training, and you're a military member. Boom, good to go. You have a job, a stable job that will pay you bi-weekly. They give you money for rent and a paycheck and money for groceries on top of whatever other bonuses you get. How do you beat that? Right? And all you have to do is go to work every day? That's a no-brainer. In my mind, it's a no-brainer. It's so easy. And you get school benefits, you get benefits for being a veteran, you get benefits for all kinds of crazy stuff. It's a no-brainer, especially if you have nothing else going on in your life. Just do it. Do 4 years or do 6 years. Because, like, I guess I could explain this. A military contract is for 8 years. And of those 8 years, you choose how many years you're active. You choose either 4 years or 6 years. I chose 6 because for those remaining 2 years, you can be called back. Or, if you chose to do 4 years, for 4 years after, there's a chance that they can call you back. Say we get into war, say something crazy happens, whatever, they can call you back. So I chose to do 6 just so that I have less amount of years worrying about if they're going to call me back. So that's that. But yeah, so you do your little 4 years or you do your little 6 years and then you're done. You're done. You don't have to do it anymore. It's over with and you come out of it 1,000 times more professional, 1,000 times more capable and able than yourself if you didn't put yourself through all that stuff. You get a shit ton of benefits, you get free school, you get whatever, all kinds of shit, just given to you. Because, not really given to you, but like you earned it. You earned all that stuff, So it's like, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Just do it. If you have nothing else going on and you have no idea what to do, just join the military. They will take you like that. You can sign up, take whatever aptitude tests, and you're in. Within a couple months, you could be in, and you could be on your way to changing your life forever. Okay? I understand that the military is not for everyone, and some people are just not up for it, just like how school is not really for everyone. But I believe that anyone can get through it. As long as you put your mind to it and look forward to your life after the fact, you can get through it. You can do it. It's not hard. It's not that hard. It's hard, but it's simple. It's simple. I have to get those terms right. It's hard. It's difficult, but it's simple. Just keep your mind on the prize for that whole time. Get through whatever you have to get through. Take every experience and take every challenge as a way to learn and build yourself, build your character, build your knowledge, build your endurance, build your resolve, and you'll be so much better of a person because of it. So consider it. Consider it. I highly recommend it, again, to anyone that is just starting off life, that wants a chance to start their life and be independent. Do it. Do it. It's the easiest way to do that, because otherwise you're stuck with trying to figure it out on your own, trying to figure out how to do this and that, and look for a job and this or whatever. Being in the military gives you all that. The government takes you, they take you, and they cradle you, and they hold you like a little baby. And they do this for however many years that you sign up for. And yeah, when you're done, they kind of just, all right, bye. They kind of just let you go. But hopefully by that time, you've learned, you've become a better person, and you've prepared to be able to, like a cat, land on all fours whenever the military throws you out when it's time. Or if you're like one of those people that this does happen to, you end up enjoying the military and you do 20 some odd years in the military. You might be that person. You never know. It happens. I've seen it happen so many times, actually. How old do you have to be to go military? Because you want to go to the military due to the fact that your great-grandfather was in the Army in World War II. Ooh, that's cool. It's a nice little bit of history in your family. Plus, you're going to graduate this year. You have to be 18, but you can sign up when you're 17 with like your parents and stuff like that. But you wouldn't leave until you're 18. So, yeah. And if you've already gotten through college and stuff, you can join and like become an officer. Like if you have a degree, I think do you just need an associate's degree? Or do you need a bachelor's? I think you just need an associate's degree to become an officer. And officers get paid bank. Officers get paid stupid amounts of money. Even at the lowest rank, it's fucking ridiculous. And like me, I have a master's, so like if I were to ever rejoin, I would rejoin as an officer, or at least try. Because they get paid stupid amounts of money. And I don't know, like as far as like me in my life, I've left that as an option. I think the cutoff is 35 to join the military or rejoin the military. And I could be wrong about this. I haven't really looked it up, but I've given myself that option that, if, in a couple years of, being an apprentice and becoming a tattoo artist, and if financially things are still kind of rocky, things are not going well or whatever, I'm open to doing another 4 or 6 years in the military because I've already done it once. I know what the hell I'm going to get myself into. And it's simple. I just do whatever I got to do and take those 4 years or 6 years or whatever to get my money right, get my life right, get everything on track, and be able to take that time to plan ahead, plan for life after I'm done. It's you can get to a point mentally where you don't even have to worry about what you're doing every day. Obviously, yeah, you do. You want to be present in your job and making sure you're doing everything right. But as far as thinking about your future, like your mind is in a place where you're doing what you're doing on a daily basis so that it's for the greater good. It's for getting you to where you want to be in your life and setting yourself up as best as possible for after the fact. You just do what you got to do, grind it out, and do it. And you can't fail. You really can't fail when you're in the military. Like, you have to really try and be like a fuck up to get fired from your job. Most of the time, like if you kind of mess up or whatever, you're not really as good at something as you should be, they'll move you to a different position, So it's just, it's a no-brainer. It's such a no-brainer to me. And again, it's scary if you haven't done it before. If you haven't been around the military lifestyle, it's scary. I get that. But I just hope that my words can kind of help ease that feeling and make you a little bit more curious and, able to go get some research done, go talk to some people, go talk to a recruiter, get some more information about it, because again, if you have nothing else going on, it's a no-brainer. You'll be so much better off as a person. Would you recommend having the military pay for medical school? My father was in the Navy, and he said they can keep doctors for a long time for operational necessity. I guess in that kind of case, it depends on your job, or like which service that you're in, because I don't know if that the way that you worded that is correct as far as like them keeping doctors. Like, they can't keep you per se, but they might, incentivize those doctors to stay in because, here's a bonus, here's a raise, here's whatever. But yeah, if you're going to go for medical, they're going to pay for all that. They literally pay to train you to become this thing. They pay you to learn how to be a doctor instead of going to college or whatever and paying them to learn how to be a doctor. Why not just have the military pay you to learn how to be a doctor? A no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Does the military accept fat people? I like to say that there's a waiver for everything, especially in the Air Force. They have waivers for a lot of kind of crazy stuff, but no. You have to be a certain level of fitness in order to be in the military, for sure. Definitely. Now, once you're in, there's a lot of people that do kind of slack off on their fitness after the fact, and that's where those waivers come into play. But no, it's probably best to get in shape as much as you can beforehand. Makes sense. Yeah, you wanted to join especially for medical school, but your Hispanic mother would not be happy. Who cares? And this is another conversation for another day, but like, it's your life. Who cares if your parents are going to be unhappy? They're not you. They're not going to be holding your hand the rest of your life. Like, you have to do the shit that you got to do. If that's what you want to do, go fucking do it. Who cares if they're not going to be happy? They're your parents. They should be supporting you. And if they're not being good parents. Sip on that tea. That's just my opinion. If your parents aren't supporting you in your dreams, they're not being good parents. Okay, your parents should want to see you flourish and want to see you try different things and grow as a person, not shelter you, not control you to be a certain way. The fuck? That doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense to me. None. But I'm kind of biased because I'm the kind of person that, like, I love my family, but I don't like being stuck around them, like, I like being out on my own, doing my own thing. seeing the world and not being stuck in a confined space. Like, fuck that. Who cares? Who cares what anyone thinks? Fucking go do your thing. If they're unhappy, okay, let them be unhappy. They'll get over it. They'll get over it. Because while they're being unhappy, you're making moves to bettering yourself and growing and making your life better. A no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Natalie says, I'm a college freshman, but I'm feeling stuck in the typical graduate high school, go to college BS. I'm in a moral dilemma. That kind of thing is something that you're going to have to do some soul searching with. You have to decide if it's worth, going through the rest of however many years that you have left into getting your degree. Like, is it going to be worth it in the end? Are you going to be happy? What are you doing while you're in college? Are you trying to search for good jobs? Are you trying to study more about the career field that you're interested in while you're in those early stages of college, right? Because like those early couple of years of college are just general ed, basic stuff. Like, you don't really get into the meat and potatoes of whatever you're actually trying to get into, or you're using those years to figure all that out, right? Yeah, that's going to take some soul searching on your part to decide what you actually want out of life, where you're trying to go, and make adjustments and make moves towards that. And if college is not a part of that, then it's not a part of that. But I would recommend getting a degree, at least a bachelor's degree, because it does look good on a resume if that's the kind of lifestyle that you're going through. And what I mean by lifestyle, but like if that's the kind of path that you're taking when it comes to seeking out work that requires resumes and work that requires certain things, or if things like resumes are important, then obviously you want to do things that makes that look better, right? So it's kind of a no-brainer to continue to get your education and do all that. But if you're not feeling it, then you're not feeling it. You should work towards something that you feel is productive, that you can put 200% in, because there's no point in just half-assing stuff. Why are you doing it? There's no point. My mom tried forcing me to join the military. Wait, what? My mom tried forcing me to join the military since my younger brother was joining, but I couldn't because of health, and I was a single mom at the time. Had no one to be there for your kid. Yeah, that's a rough situation. But your mom can't force you to do what? That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean your mom tried forcing you? No one can force you to do anything. Except when you're in the military and you're told to do something, you have to do it for the most part. But your parents can't force you to do stuff. If you're in a situation where you live with your parents, you have to follow some of their house rules or whatever. But if you're over 18, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Are they going to be mad? Are they not going to be happy? Sure, of course. But that's what parents do. They're parents. They're supposed to get angry. They're supposed to be concerned with what you're doing with your life and try to help you make changes or whatever. But ultimately, you have to control your own life. No one can control it for you. They can if you let them, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't at all, ever let anyone control your life. Ever. Like I get so like jittery and irritated whenever I hear about people's parents telling them what to do and controlling them. Like, that just I fucking hate that. I hate that idea. I hate that. And that's partly because I don't know. My dad was a very strict father, and he has a very strict idea of how to live a life. You get a trade job, or you go to school, you learn skill, you get a trade job, and you get a nice wife, and you have kids, and you live in a house. A very traditional mindset for how things are supposed to go. And so he was very stern like that, but I always fought against that, because in my mind, there's other ways to live life. There's other ways to be happy. You don't have to have fucking white picket fence and a lawn and fucking whatever. You don't have to live like that. to be happy. There's other things that you can do and still be successful at. So yeah, whenever I hear about, parents being controlling and stuff, it irritates me, because I'm a living embodiment of the idea that you don't have to be controlled by your parents. You don't have to care what other people think of what you do. Just do it. Be successful. Do whatever the hell you have to do. If you have to join the military, if you have to go to some crazy fucking country to learn some crazy fucking skill, go do it. Who cares what anyone else thinks? No one else is living your life. No one. Again, it's a no-brainer. It doesn't make any sense. Or it makes perfect sense to just do you. Just do you. I just don't understand that mentality that people have, that they feel that they're confined by someone else's rule. Like, no. And again, in the military, you sign up to follow orders, and you sign up to you sign into this hierarchy of, like, you have to follow the lead of the person higher than you. That's obvious. Like, when it comes to jobs and things like that, obviously do what you're told, do your fucking job, stuff like that. That's obvious. But when it comes to certain things, like, deciding what you want to do in your life, what makes you happy, that's stuff that you should not settle for. You should not take someone else's, ordering on. Like, don't let anyone else tell you what to do when it comes to that kind of stuff. But for obvious things like work and whatever, yeah, do your job. Do your job. Listen to rules. Follow directions and stuff. But when it comes to your life decisions, oh my God. Follow your goals. Follow your fucking goals. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I am triggered. That kind of shit makes me super triggered. And because, like, I get it, if you live with your family and they're taking care of you, they're paying your things for you, I get it. They have more of an influence on you. Like, I understand. But you should be working towards breaking against that. You should be working to be independent and on your own. And hey, if you don't want to be on your own, if you like and if you enjoy living with your family and living that kind of lifestyle, cool. I'm all for, like, if living with your parents is helping you be productive because you can save on rent, you can save on not having certain bills or whatever, go for it. As long as you're, going to school at the same time, working a good job at the same time, whatever, trying to better yourself, go for it, do it, but don't complain. Don't complain if, your parents are trying to do stuff. You wish your parents could have heard your advice when you were going to college. They were a little forceful to the point that you were scared to tell them when you changed your major. Yeah, see? Like, why should you be scared about that? You shouldn't be scared about that at all. At all. You changed the major because you were doing a subject that you weren't interested in. What's there to be scared about? Of what your parents have to say. Now, again, granted, if your parents are paying for your college and they expect you to go through a certain career, yeah, you should talk to them about that. You should be able to be comfortable to be like, hey, look, thank you for paying for my school. Thank you for providing for me. I fucking love you. But I'm not interested in this. I'm interested in such and such. And I feel like I could do so much better doing this other thing, and have that conversation. But you should definitely have that conversation for sure. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's your life. Don't be scared. Take control of that shit early on, because, oh my God, it gets worse. Oh my God, things get so much worse as you get older. And, if you do things right, you're as prepared to take on those certain things, but still, things do get a lot worse. It's ridiculous. At least you didn't waste money doing another major for 4 years only to change before graduation. That would have been the worst. I feel like that was maybe you. Did you go through that situation? But hey, life is all about learning and taking those lessons and not making the same mistake twice. uh, that's all what life is about. Just you live and learn and try not to try not to try not to die early. I don't know what else to say to that. But wow, it's been like an hour and 20 minutes. Oh my god. I think that's a good place to end it. Fucking live your life, and do what you got to do. Because that's all that matters. Make good relationships with people, make good memories, have good experiences, try to open your mind and open yourself to the bigger world out there that exists. Open your mind to different cultures and different ways of doing things, and just don't be closed-minded to things. Just be open to stuff. Have a moral, foundation. Have your morals still, but be open to trying new things and be open to seeing something you never would have thought you would have seen, or whatever. Meet somebody that you never would have thought you would enjoy the company of, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, thanks for having this lovely discussion with me. I guess it was kind of a discussion. It was me just really talking, but still taking some of your advice. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to check the description box for links to my website, social media, my Patreon, which shout out to everyone that supports me on there, because you guys are really helping a lot. Consider giving $1. With $1 pledge, you get to watch new videos early, like weeks ahead of time. You get access to my exclusive ASMR video list, and I might be adding the weekly live streams to that $1 tier too, or as well. So getting a lot of value for your $1 support, and you're helping the brand, helping the channel, and helping me continue to be able to do this with you guys. So consider it. Links down in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next live stream next Monday. If you do browse on Twitch, if you are a Twitch user and you like watching video games and art and stuff, we will be on Twitch tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. So hopefully I'll see you guys there around the same time, 10 p.m. EST. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next ASMR video. Again, there's a new ASMR video already up on Patreon, so if you want to watch that, it's there. And I'm going to be uploading some new videos this week as well. So go check that out, and I'll see you guys next time. I love you. I hope you take care. And as always, keep dreaming.